In this video, I'm going to describe to you the fundamental difference between operating a short-term rental versus a mid-term rental. And as you know, if you've been on this channel before, we sub-niche into the mid-term rental and focus on the insurance sub-niche of mid-term rentals because it's all about, again, low maintenance and high profit margins. But let's talk about the two fundamental differences between short-term rentals and mid-term rentals. As you may know, or maybe you don't know, and here's why I'm here to fill you in, short-term rentals are anywhere from 30 days or less. All right. And traditionally, short-term rentals, again, the coin term Airbnb is for that reason. Everybody and their mother were launching Airbnbs, and they were just slapping properties, furniture into properties and listings, and you were just printing money. But those days have now come to an end because everyone realized, or at least a lot of people realized, that you could make this kind of easy money, quote unquote, which means that we've increased the supply of short-term rentals while the demand has more or less stayed the same, which then means that the short-term rental guest now has options. And if they do have a lot of options, they're going to want to bid the best option. And for that reason, now short-term rentals have gone competitive. It's not that they're saturated. It just means that if you want to stay booked and be top occupancy and top profitability, you're going to want to put a lot of, again, quote unquote, relative to your marketplace, a lot more work than the average Joe. And this is important if you want to make top dollar and you're not doing this just as a side quest, right? So with that comes a expectation. And because short-term rental guests are looking for an experience, with the experience comes expectation, and with expectation comes, again, an experience that you need to offer to your guests, which means you're also catering to their wants. Meanwhile, on the mid-rental side, you're catering to their needs. Well, let's talk about those wants for a second. What could a want possibly be? A want could be anything that's tied to having, again, experience, aka entertainment, aka things that they are going to want when they are on site that maybe a hotel doesn't have, or maybe that a hotel does have. So you need to have all of the above, because when I'm coming in for 3 days or 2 days or 5 days, I picked your place because either I found it entertaining, I found something that where I want to be entertained, and I want the experience because I want the memories. I want the memory dividends, as we call them. So with that comes, we're talking about pools. We're talking about pool tables, outdoor pools, hot tubs. Again, with respect to your markets, we're talking about catering to a guest's wants. We're catering to large flat screen TVs. We're catering to decked out backyards. We're catering to aesthetically pleasing so that I actually do want to actually click the picture and then actually want to stay there. We're talking about fancy wallpaper. We're talking about comfort, but we're also talking about options. And with options comes a lot of amenities. Now, you continuously want to be ahead of the game by having the right amenities in your marketplace. And this is actually why, because we often encourage you to run a hybrid strategy, it's important for you to understand what goes into a short-term rental. And it's just that it is wants that the customer is going to want to experience with their guests and their company. Now, with that said, on the midterm rental side, it's more functionality. It's almost like the in-between of like, I want a lease, but I also don't want a 12-month lease, because whatever happened to, what if I don't need to stay somewhere for 12 months? Whatever happened to having some sweet spot in the middle? For all we know, it's month-to-month leases, which there are not many options that are furnished, or it's 12-month lease and I got to bring in my own furniture. And that's where midterm rental comes into this, wedges itself into a very sweet spot where it's more than 30 days, but it's typically less than 12 months. But where we even sweeten a deal, let's talk about that for a second. When I'm coming in, I don't necessarily need all the bells and whistles on with midterm rentals because it's lower maintenance. But with lower maintenance comes with lower cost if you're operating only in the traditional midterm rental market. Traditional midterm rental market functionality might mean having a garage, fenced in backyard, Obviously, do I have access to a dedicated workspace if I happen to work from home? It's functional, it works, it does the job. But with that comes also the price tag that reflects it. And this is why you're charging a premium on the short-term rental side, because of the experience and all the amenities you have to offer, and maybe on the mid-term.
If you're currently getting value from watching this video, you'll want to make sure you take a second and click below to grab the midterm rental insurance blueprint to help accelerate your process in being able to land these midterm rental insurance contracts with respect to your marketplace. Make sure you click the button below and grab it and continue on with the gems in this video.
Rental side, you don't have to do as much. However, there's a caveat to that, because we like to focus on the midterm rental insurance niche, which means low maintenance and higher profit margins, sometimes even higher and often higher than the short-term rental margin. How can this be? By catering to displaced families due to unforeseen events, and their insurance company is paying on their behalf and not the client themselves. So we are able to come up with a formula that allows us to be low maintenance, higher profit margins, where we are catering specifically to their needs and not their wants. And that is how, full circle, we see how the MTR needs, again, functionality. Is my pet gonna have a place to run around? Is there a fence in the backyard? Am I gonna have a place to park the garage? Am I gonna have a place where I can do my dedicated workspace? Am I gonna have a place, enough rooms in the bed in the homes, so that we have enough room where we can have a dining room, have a living room, have a back deck where we can also possibly eat outdoors the way we did in our home where we came from? It's all functionality, and not so much is there a hot tub in the back. If you happen to have that bonus, everybody loves a bonus. And by the way, midterm rental families can also enjoy the perks of high maintenance too. So why not spoil them if you can? But what you need to fundamentally understand is, if you cater to this midterm rental insurance niche, you don't have to have all the bells and whistles. You can simply offer a product that is simply not available. Because why? Typically, short-term rental operators are doing the short-term rental thing, and they're accepting 3 to 4 stays, 5, 6, 7, 8-day stays. Can be all scattered within the calendar. They're certainly not going to be back to back. So what that means is, when a family needs to insert themselves for the next 2 months, well, there isn't much options for them, because either the 12-month traditional landlord is saying, I need 12 months. And by the way, the traditional 12-month landlord also doesn't have furniture, and also may not make their place pet friendly, which then reduces the options dramatically. And because where there's drama, that is where we like to go, because where there's drama, there is a solution to a problem and an opportunity to solve a problem and be highly compensated for doing so. So now I trust that by simply having watched this video, you understand that there is a fundamental difference in the avatars that are being served. On the short-term rental side, it's people who are looking for an experience. And it's not to say that midterm rental families are not looking for an experience either, but it is not a high priority item. Functionality supersedes all. They're looking for needs, while short-term rental guests are looking for wants. Needs versus wants. And with needs, we proceed to charge a premium by working with the insurance companies who are in themselves in a very high need and a very high demand. And with low supply, we are able to charge a premium to serve those needs with lower maintenance clients. And by the way, just hear it from me. You will feel the difference, and it will be hard for you to go back. Once you serve a family that's being displaced and is looking for a home, and they have few options, and your option is one of them, they will be very grateful. While on the short-term rental side, hey, sometimes you're lucky enough if you get a 5-star, which, by the way, that 5-star is certainly earned and not given, right? With that said, I trust now that you have all the tools in your tool belt to understand the difference of, hey, who are you going to go for? Will you go for both? Will you go for STRs, or will you go for MTRs? Now, there is an opportunity for you to go for both. With that said, you'll have to check out one of my other videos on that topic. If you got value from this video, make sure you check out my other video called Maximizing Rental Profits with the Hybrid Short-Term Rental and Midterm Rental Strategy.